Representative Moser.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for your testimony. I appreciate your coming today, and I am very sympathetic to your plight and the issues that you're dealing with now. I just want to make sure we do this right. We have plenty of organic plants, plenty of organic products that have been turned into medications because we have the FDA approval process. And I just want to know, I guess, why is it a problem for marijuana to go through the FDA approval process?
Well, obviously, marijuana is a Schedule I drug, so it can't get approved through FDA.
But if we can lift that schedule, why is it a problem for marijuana to go through the process that we have in place for every other drug? We don't chew willow bark for aspirin. We do not chew foxglove for our digitalis. We have natural products that have been made into medications. The active ingredients have been derived from these plants. So I just want to know why.
Let me answer it this way. It is a Schedule I, as I said, so it can't receive FDA approval right now. I would say that I don't hold the FDA approval process as the end-all, be-all. After all, the FDA has approved drugs that are killing our people by the thousands.
Because they're inappropriately used, you're correct.
Well, they're inappropriately used and inappropriately prescribed. And let me also say this. Mm-hmm. I know you, Representative Moser, and I know that you have a heart of gold, and you're trying to get it right just like I am, and I think everyone else here. But I will remind you that you and I both voted for right-to-try legislation. Right-to-try legislation is by definition going around the FDA process, FDA approval process, because it is broken.
Of so legal substances, you're right.
And then also, hemp was approved and is being used right now today in Kentucky, and it is a federal violation. It violates federal law. So to hold this out under a different standard than the people before us held hemp, and that you and I held right to try, is not fair. And so what I'm saying is this. We know this is not speculation. We know this works. We know it does. 30 states know it. Multiple countries know it. Just this week, a few days ago, there was a University of Kentucky study that said that states that have medical marijuana have a 6% reduction in prescriptions in Medicaid for opioids. This is not a new thing. This is not novel.
Well, I mean, I've got I can provide data that shows that every state who has legalized cannabis for either medicinal use or recreational continues to trend up on their opioid overdoses.
Yeah,
I've got it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I think in Colorado it's
I guess the NIH. Yeah, I guess we could all get in touch.
If Mr. Chairman, if I can address that as well, there are studies which show the exact opposite as well. So we'll be happy to supply those to you as well. And as far as the FDA, if they were so efficient with some things, we wouldn't have the situation they have with the production of valsartan, which is the generic for Diovan, which has been out there because the manufacturing of that was done in China, and there were contaminants that were added to that, or somehow it was exposed to that, which have produced quite a number of people.
Yes, the FDA caught that. That's
yeah, they
true.
Caught it about, in my case, a year and a half after I've been taking that. So in many people's cases, 5 years after. So the FDA isn't the end-all, be-all, and I think we need to look at the length of time to which it would take for this to go through the FDA process. How many thousands of Kentuckians would have either be dead because, as has been pointed out by Representative Sinnett and a number of people, Senator Syme the other day, the nausea is so bad from
you don't die from
that you don't die from that. But if you can't eat because of what has happened to you from whichever illness you have, whatever type of cancer, you do die from that. But forget the dying from that. The pain, the day-to-day pain people are living through. And that's all we're saying. We're trying to create a very, very tightly drafted bill with law enforcement support, with all of your input, so that we can help people like these that are sitting with us. And we are open to your input and suggestions. Please just read the bill when you get the bill and make the comments then. That's what we ask for.
I have one thing to say as well, and again, this has to do with the epilepsy community. There actually is a drug that was just approved by the FDA.
Epidiolex.
Epidiolex.
Right.
And
It was my legislation that allowed
Okay, yeah.
that.
So you know what I'm talking about. And that comes from cannabis, correct?
No.
It does not come from cannabis?
I'm sorry, I was answering his question. It's a fractured marijuana plant?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that took that long, and they've proven that helps young kids with what she has, correct? So
Right.
in my opinion, the fact that we can't get to that point quicker, and you look at other states that have already done it, clearly there's something there that's helping people. Even the FDA is saying it now. So why would we wait, you know what I mean, while my life gets worse, I guess, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know, if Epidiolex is one of the medications you've tried or not, but I just showed Representative Nemes the FDA approval process. There is a fast track, so there is a 6-month expedited fast track available now. So, if I may ask.
The reason we cannot get Epidiolex is because it's still on the Schedule 1. So while the FDA approved it, prescribers cannot give the drug yet. We've asked specifically to our neurologists.
It's not a Schedule 1. Epidiolex?
The stuff in Epidiolex, is where it comes from, is still Schedule 1. So we have asked our neurologists point blank. What's that?
The components.
The components that it comes from are Schedule 1. So we have asked point blank, can we get on Epidiolex? And she says, I cannot prescribe that to you yet because those elements are still in Schedule 1. So
No,
even now,
I don't know that that's correct. I would like to look into that. I will look into that because I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely want to make sure that that's available to everyone with a severe, seizure disorder. I have one more quick question, if I may.
Yes.
What is the cost? We're talking about legalizing marijuana for medicinal purposes. What is the cost to the Commonwealth of Kentucky to regulate and enforce these new laws? And what is the cost to the Commonwealth of Kentucky to create a new cannabis commission or whatever it is that we're doing under the DOJ?
We don't have the cost right now. We'll be getting that fiscal note when the bill is done. Our understanding is that it will not be a big moneymaker to Kentucky, but it will pay for itself and then some. And so we don't believe it's going to cost the general fund any dollars. It will actually bring some dollars into the general fund. Not a lot. You should not support medical marijuana because it's going to be some economic boom. It will not be. If it is, great, but that's not the pitch here. The pitch here is it is good for people, and it will cover itself and then some.
Okay, well, I just know that some of the states who have legalized it and, also in looking at regulation and enforcement of things like our alcohol and tobacco laws, for every $1 that's raised through taxing those products, we spend about $10 enforcing any laws or regulations. So I just want to be careful. We currently do not tax any pharmaceuticals in Kentucky. So I know that we're not looking to tax marijuana. So I just think that this is not only not going to be a revenue stream, I think it will end up costing us a lot more. But we'll see.
We will tax it at the wholesale level, the excise, but not a sales tax. So there will be a tax on the industry, but not at the retail.
Okay.
And I've not seen anything that says our alcohol costs us $10 for every dollar that we generate in liquor taxes. I would love to see that because I don't think that's right.
Okay. I'll pull it up for you.